Yo, what is up? We had a great day in the market today. This is July 28th. To recap, right? Let's get into it. All right, for Tuesday's pre-market, what were we doing, right? We were delivering out of a daily gap, right? And we did have some LR to the highs, right? But the LR was being protected, right, by that daily gap, and we just expanded lower, right? So what do I want to see now, right? I just want to see us flush down towards a weekly gap, and now that I've reviewed it again, there was a monthly gap below, right? So I'd like to see it flush, keep flushing, right, and probably find a continuation kind of short trade into here. But we could potentially still go for longs, right? So I'd have to go in a lower time frame, see what the 4 hour is doing, and yeah. All right, on the 4 hour, right, we had a SMT at the highs, right? We had a 4 hour gap, right, and then we had a ES mitigate that gap and create a SMT, right? And NQ at this point was disrespecting the fuck out of bullish, right? It was just disrespecting bullish and continuing bearish, so much so that we created SMT at the highs, right? And then we also created SMT at the gap, right? At this point, I kind of still wanted to target that 4 hour, right? We could still want to mitigate that. So we had our last place of bullishness being this 15-minute gap and this hourly gap on ES, right? If we wanted to potentially long into the 4 hour, right, I'll expect this 15-minute gap to hold, right, and not get disrespected off open, right? So what I would like to see off open is it just open lower, close higher, and then we could potentially take longs just off that towards the 4 hour gap, right? This ends up not happening, right? We do get a disrespect of the 15-minute and we're losing to a 3-minute gap, right? What this tells us is that if the 15-minute gap is losing to a 3-minute gap and then we opened higher and then we close lower, it's just a sign that we want to go lower, right? Especially since the daily time frame is super bearish, right? The 4 hour time frame is also bearish with the SMT at the highs, right? So off this open high low close, and I just took this short right here. I did get break even early on this, right? I just wanted to see it instantly displace, right, which it did technically, right? But I ended up going break even a little too early, and I did get break even on this trade, but I did catch a continuation trade later down the line. And that leads us to this trade right here, which I really did like, and I think is trade of the day, right? We had a accumulation right before a 3-minute gap, right? And we also had a SMT at the highs, right? What did we do? We accumulated, we manipulated, and guess what we did? We distributed, right? What did we manipulate into? We manipulated into a 3-minute gap, right? Oh my god, it's a 3-minute gap, low time frame gap. Doesn't really matter. If we're already displacing super bearish, right? All we just need is the right kind of key moments, right? And guess what we had? We had accumulation, right? We manipulated, and then we manipulated into a key level with the SMT. So this puts our stop at a very high resistance spot and just like a probable spot to distribute, right? And distribute we did, right? We manipulated the high, SMT at the high, and then distributed. I did pass halfway past my evals, right? Hopefully I get to pass my evals tomorrow, right? And on Thursday I get a little buffer, but not trying to rush the process, just still gonna read price obviously. But yeah, it's pretty simple trade here, just targeting range low, and yeah, super glad I guess about this. Not really, you know, I mean, it was just a good trade at the end of the day. And yeah, we practically just kept dumping for the rest of the day, but I got off, so I'm not really going to cover that. There's probably other YouTubers out there covering that. So that being said, I'm going to do a little quick video for y'all. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. Peace. If you comment Froggy Lemon, I'll give you a funded account.